Hey, this is Oliver and welcome back to Tutorialpilot. First, sorry for the long time off. The last years were extremely turbulent and we come up with new tutorials, a new concept, and I hope you will like that in the year 2024. And so as always, let's jump in. This is what we will create today. Yeah, some kind of cool ring tutorial, and everything is inside After Effects. You don't need any third-party plugins, and it's 100% procedural, so you can change whatever you like and you'll always have this cool effect, and you can customize this, of course, the way you like it. Tutorial is just for the basic idea. So let's get started. First of all, I got a lot of things here in my project. I will delete all of this to start blank from scratch. So make a new composition. We call that ring, and we make it 2100 by 879, but you can, as always, choose your own settings. We have a frame rate of 25 frames and a length of 30 seconds, and hit OK. So first of all, let's go and make a new solid. Make some kind of grayish and call this, let's say, band A. And OK, so I will scale that down. And the basic idea of this is to put that into a ring shape. So we have everything on this composition, and everything we change here will be pushed into this ring shape. To showcase you what I mean is you simply pre-compose this, string shift C on a keyboard or layer pre-compose. We call that ring. We move all attributes, hit OK, and we go to the effect and presets and go for polar coordinates, and we drop that onto our pre-composition. Okay, so with the interpolation, we bring this up to 100%, and this is what we have so far, and it's not what we're going for. So we change the type of conversion to rect to polar, and now we have our ring. Okay, and if we bring this band more down, hold on the shift key, you see the bigger the ring will get. Okay, so this is our ring. Okay, so let's bring in some particles. Go to layer, new solid. We call it particles, and we call it particles A just in case. And we go for a really old particle system. It's called Particle Playground, and the Particle Playground gives you this gun that shoots red square particles, and you have here, not gun, cannon, and you can change the color of the pixels and whatever you like to do. But in our case, we don't need the cannon, we like to have the grid, so we go to the cannon, to the particles per second, and bring this down to 0. And let's go to the grid, and first of all, the grid width is the comp width, which is in our case 2100 pixels. And the height, let's bring this to 150, but we can change this later on. So with the particles across and down, please be a bit patient. Let's try 6 by 4. That should give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pixels, or 6 particles from left to right, and 4 in the row. But to not get confused, go to the very first frame, and now you can see what happens here. So we got 4 pixel emitters in a row, 6 from left to right, and if we start animating that, they fall down. Okay, so first of all, bring this to the center of the grayish layer. So pick the position and go to something like here, so that they're just in the center, and we go to the left side so that the particle starts on the left side. Okay, something like that. Okay, everything's falling down. We don't like that, so we go to the gravity and we bring the direction to 90. And now everything should shoot from left to right. And as you see, as far as the particles go, I got this dotted lines here. You can do two things. You can increase the particles across to, let's say, 12. Looks better. And you can bring down the force to something like, let's say, 60. Okay, that looks much better. Here we go. And if you want to have a quick look down to the ring, as you see, if we animate that, you see it starts animating that. Okay. We have some issues here, and this is because of our composition here. So we go to the position, and let's say here we go. This is our first particles, and now everything should look good here. Yes, that looks cool. We will use them as a mask. Okay, you can play if you don't like this these little things here. We can play, of course, with the force, bring this down to 40. It's better, and of course you can increase the particles across, and you can play with the particle radius. Let's try 2.5, and now everything should look good in line. Okay, so we have all the lines from left to right. So I bring in some artwork we did in Midjourney. But you can use any picture, any artwork you like to. First of all, I hit S on a keyboard and I will unlock the scale, and I will scale that a bit to the side because I like to animate it from left to right. So let's do this first. Go to the first keyframe, bring the artwork all the way to the left side so that everything fits here on the side. Hit the stopwatch on the position and go to frame number 6. Or I mean 6 seconds, and I bring this all the way to the right side. So this is my animation. No rocket science, nothing fancy. So bring this underneath the particles composition and use the particles composition as a matte. Okay, and now this is what we have. This looks very cool. This looks like some kind of gridish lines here. So in the ring composition it looks like this, which I like. So to give all of this more depth, first I like to have this band a bit more thicker, something like so, that everything is good. Okay, so I go to the band and I apply a ramp to that, gradient ramp, and I go from a dark grayish to a darker grayish, something like so. Get more depth. Now you see that? This in solo looks so cool. Okay, so this is the basic idea. Everything you do in this comp will be piped into this ring. So for example, if you take the band A, string D on the keyboard to make it duplicate, shrink this down and put that to here, for example, you will have another outer ring, which is quite cool. And this works also for text. If you put in the text, and let's use the align tool. Where we have it here, align, center, and now in the ring we have Tutorialpilot here. Okay, and even let's make a copy of the band A, string D on the keyboard and bring this to here, maybe shrink that down one more time, and another copy D. Oops. I like to have this one and bring it up to here. Now you have this one. Looks very cool. So in the ring composition we like to have more 3D optic, okay? So for that we make a new solid. Layer, new solid. And we call that glossy. Make it grayish. Hit OK. And we need a CC glass effect. Okay. Under the surface settings, please select the ring layer, and you start seeing immediately that here we get some kind of beveling effect. Okay. If you bring down the softness, you get sharper edges, and you can do this. I know that I think something around 0.8 fits perfectly to here to get this metal lookish feel. You have the height. You can increase the height even to some kind of inverse that. I would say something around 50 is fine for me. And you have the displacement also. And we like to have this ring shape. This one here, okay? So for that, go to the bump map and go to effects and masks. And now we have our ring, okay? Now we have some light settings. You can use AE lights or you can use the built-in lights. You can crank this up. You see, have a look at this parts here. These are the important parts. The light height. Okay, something around so should fine. And we like to cut out the background. For that we need a set matte. And again we choose our ring layer, and as you see, the same procedure as on the CC glass, we use the mask and effects, and now everything should look like it should look like. Okay, you can darken that by playing with the light settings, or you can put in some AE lights. So you switch this over to After Effects lights, go to layer, new light, make it a point light and bring it over here. As you see, here you have this shimmering. You go to light settings, light options, and bring the intensity up. That looks much better. And we make a copy, string D on the keyboard. We bring the light to the right side. I like to have some shimmering here on this side, so bring it down and push it back in Z space. Okay. Oops. Here we go. As you see now, I have here, as you see that, I got this little thing here. And that's fine for me. So that looks cool. We have some artifacts here that comes from the glossy layer. Maybe let's play with the height a bit. So you see it's getting even worth. You push this up. Play with the displacement. And of course you can play with the softness. Let's try 0.4. I go back to the ring and bring the particle size up to 4. So get a bit more, or let's try 5. Let's see. Oh, sorry, not 5. 4, and the particle radius up to 5. So now we get a bit more there. Back to the ring. That's okay so far. What we do with the glossy layer is we switch the transfer mode to hard light. Here we go. This is what we like to have. Some kind of metal, dark metal look. And this is quite cool. Yeah, that looks really, really good. Okay, so let's go for a background. So easy as that. Layer, new solid. We call that BG. The color does not matter. And we put it on a ramp. Gradient ramp. We switch that from linear to radial and give him, no, first of all, switch the colors. So, and I give him some kind of metal, darkish bluish, something like that. Maybe that looks fine. Okay, and I bring the point to here, so we have this one here. Maybe a bit darker, it's too light. That looks quite awesome. Okay, perfect. Now let's animate that so that the ring will build up. Not only turns around, which is quite cool so far. So if you're fine with that, you can stop the tutorial here. No, just kidding. But let's do this. So we go into our ring composition and we select all of these layers and we'll pre-compose them. String, Shift C on the keyboard, or layer pre-compose, and we call this ring, and or let's say build ring. Hold on one second. Ring build up. Move all attributes, hit OK. So now we put in a wipe, and we need a linear wipe, and yeah, this is what we have. Okay, here we go. From 0 to 100. This is exactly the way from left to right. So go to frame number 1, hit the stopwatch, go to frame number or to 6 seconds and bring this all the way down to 0. Hit UU on the keyboard, so these are the only 2 keyframes, okay? And this is what we have so far, okay? And if we go back to a ring, now we have a very cool build up of our ring. So we're halfway through. What we can do is give him a little bit of feather here on the edge. So we bring this up just a touch. Let's say 20 should make it fine. And back in the ring composition, now everything fades in a bit. This is really cool. So now what we need is an effect ramp over this ring that behaves like everything here behaves. So for that, go to the project, go to the ring composition, this one here. First, to stay organized, let me rename this. So I go here and go to comp, right click on this ring here, and then comp settings, and let's rename this to ring plate, because this is the plate we have. And this is the ring, and here's the ring plate. Okay, so now we need this copy. So we go to the ring plate. This is the one we will duplicate. And for this, go please in the project and find the ring plate in the project setting. Do not copy it from here. Otherwise, you will have not a standalone copy. We need a new standalone copy. So important thing, go to ring plate, edit, copy, edit, paste, and now rename that to ring plate effect. And this is really, really important. So now we go into the ring plate effect. This is the one with our wipe on it. Okay, and go to the wipe, string D on the keyboard, copy the wipe, and reverse the wipe angle from -90 to 90. and hit UU on the keyboard. So now nothing's happened, or it happens in the wrong direction. Okay, so this is the effect. And what we will do now, or what we did wrong now, is we switched that. So back to -90, sorry for that. And this is what we have so far. Confusing. So you bring this to +90, and we have to reverse also the completion. So on frame 1 we are at completion 0, on the last frame we are on completion 100. So everything's gone, and now what you see is this little thing here, this little part, and you can make this bigger if you select these 2 keyframes and bring this a bit up. So now you can see this is what we need. Okay, you can feather that a bit more. So this is 1 and this is 2. So now we have this. Let's play a bit thicker. Okay, that looks good. And if you are now back in the ring composition and in the project, we bring in the ring plate effect. Go to the ring plate, go to the effect and presets, copy the polar coordinates, string C on the keyboard, and paste them onto the ring effect. And now what we have, if we solo that, we have this ring effect. Okay, and now with this effect we can do a lot of cool things. We can emit particles from that, we can put on other effects, and we can do a lot of cool stuff with that. So let me showcase you that. For example, let's bring in a lens. So lens, CC lens, and you see we got this lens effect here, and you can play with the settings to get this cool effect. Got some shimmering there, whatever, something like this looks cool. Maybe let's tint that to some kind of here we go, as you see, and let's add that. Now we got this little lens effect around there. Let's make another copy. String D on the keyboard, get rid of the lens and the tint, and let's play around with some pixel poly. Let me solo that, and first of all the pixel poly force down to 0 and the gravity also to 0. So now you can see this is what happened. So everything is shattered around and follows your animation. Okay, so you can play with the speed randomness. Let's push it up, and the grid spacing a bit up, so we get much bigger pieces here, and directional randomness, we can leave that, and let's give them a bit of force, 0.2. So here we go, and if we switch this back on, this is what we have. Cool. Let's make another copy of the shattered effects. String D on the keyboard, and let's bring the grid spacing a bit down, so we have much more little parts here. Maybe 40. And again, another copy. String D, and let's get rid of the pixel poly and bring in some, let's try radial blur, and bring the amount up, let's solo the layer so that we can see what we do here, and we go from scratch to straight zoom. Here we go, and the amount, you see, this is what we do. And for that, let's say we need a glow. Of course we need a glow, 100% glow. And we bring the glow threshold down, something like so. And if you unsolo that, this is what we have. Quite cool. I mean, you got the idea. And what we can do to give the ring a bit more depth, and this is also a bit tricky, but let me show you this. Go to the ring plate, not the effect, the ring plate. String D on the keyboard, go to the layer, to the new one, under the ring plate. And let's bring in, first of all, let me solo that and the background, okay? So let's bring a CC radial blur, and we change the type from scratch to fading zoom, and we need a negative value, something around this. Let's try 50. Let's try 50. Okay, you can leave the quality at 50. Now you have to pre-compose the ring plate. Okay, string shift C on the keyboard or layer pre-compose and call that shadow. Move all attributes and hit OK. What we now need is curves. We put that on, and now normally if you go here down you see it's black and that, but if you unsolo that, this is what you got. You got those artifacts here, and I have no idea why that happened, because nothing is blending. It's underneath this layer and it looks very, very weird. To get rid of this, I go here and bring this down to something like here, and you see how the artifacts disappear. Now we have here a little bit of them, of the issues. Bring this all the way down to get this cool drop shadow effect, and now it has much more depth than before. And let's say, what else can we do? We can put a glow on the ring plate. Let's try so. Go for a glow, and we have one more thing to cover. First of all, we go to the glow, and this looks amazing. I mean, I bring down the radius. I like to have 2 glows. I bring the radius down to 1, and the threshold a bit up, something like so, and the intense down to 0.4. And now I make another copy of the glow, and I bring the radius up, something like so, and also the intense a bit up and the threshold a bit up. So now this looks very, very cool. And one more thing, what you can do on the ring plate, if you in this thing, you can give him some kind of mechanical look. Okay, to do so, I make a pre-composition of the ring build up. String shift C on the keyboard, pre-compose that, and I will name this ring build up mech. Okay, and now I go for new solid layer. Layer, new solid. I call that noise. We go for turbulent noise, and we leave all the settings as they are. We go from basic to rocky, and from soft linear to block, and this gives me a very cool pattern. And now if I set a matte, and I choose the ring build up mesh, this is what I have. I have a very clear matte with all the shimmering going down there. And of course I can play with the settings, the contrast, and whatever I like. But to do this in the ring composition gives me a complete new feeling here. Have you see this? This pushes more through, and this is because of the, let me see which effect that is. Something around this. Which one is it? This one is it. Here we go. It's this one with the glow. I have to adjust the glow. So I bring up this one here, so that looks much more the way it should be. And of course I can tint that before the radial blur. So let's tint that. Bring the tint before the radial blur, and let's tint the white to some kind of orangish looking. Let's see how far can we go. Some reddish that fits to the graphic. Perfect. So now we have this glow, and we got all the details for technical things here, and you can push this to whatever point you like. I hope you got the basic idea how to animate or how to do this kind of animation. And stay tuned for the next tutorials. We see us next time here on Tutorialpilot. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be nice. And leave the comments below if you got any questions. And have a nice weekend. See you next time. Bye.